Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Try It Tuesday and we have a page here done by Kerby Roseanne. This is out of Color Morphia and we are going to do a technique that I learned from Amy Ward. You can find her at Amy Ward Art on the YouTube as well as TikTok. And she's just a lovely lady, and she will be joining all of us with Shannon for the 2 weeks of Kerby. So make sure you check her out. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using this walnut ink. This is just walnut drawing ink. And I am going to do the background. We're going to completely cover the whole page with the ink, and then after that dries next week on Tuesday, I will be going through with some acrylic ink as well as some acrylic paints, and we will be adding little bits of color as well as some sparkle to the page to create a wonderful picture that will look very antiqued but very tasteful as well. So let's get started. I have covered the page completely several times with the gesso. This is a clear textured gesso, and you don't have to use the textured stuff. I just had that handy, and of course I'm not buying anything, so use what you got, right? So you just covered the entire page with the gesso. I also have some walnut drawing ink that I got in a sketch box. This is Tom Norton's original light, fast, water-soluble, acid-free drawing ink. And you can use acrylic ink, you can use the drawing ink, you can pretty much use any type of ink that you want. This is just something I had on hand from the sketch boxes that I had last couple of years ago. And as you can tell, it's just a brown ink, and I want this to be a very sepia type of background. I also have a brush and some water. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this big brush and we're just going to soak the whole page. Like so. Now you can use a spray bottle or you can use a brush. Amy says that using a brush is much better than using a spray bottle. So now we're just going to take drops. And we're just going to put the drops on the paper. I'm going to rinse out my dropper here. And then we're going to take a brush and we're just going to move it around. May need some more of it, but first we want to get this moved around. So we're just going to do this first, and then we're going to take a little bit more and we're going to put some variations, some areas that we want darker and that sort of thing. I'm not too worried about going over the bird with it because we will be coloring that with either some pencils or some acrylic ink. I think I will probably use an acrylic marker for that, so I'm not too concerned. And of course you can do this with different colors and that sort of thing. I just really wanted it to be in the browns, so that's why I'm using the brown. All right, so I've got some more ink here. Some areas I want it to be a lot darker, so we're just going to do those first. And we're just going to just dab it into places because I want it to be splotchy. I don't want it to be even. Take a little bit more. Whoop. It just went everywhere, didn't it? Now, if you want, you can take some water, thin it out a little bit. And basically, we're just, going through, soaking that into the page. And this is the messy part, as you can probably tell. And again, and put some of this down. And we're going to take our spritz bottle. So I've got a little spray bottle here with water in it as well. Let's see. And we're just going to pick up and move it around. This isn't spreading as nicely as the acrylic ink that she was using spread, but that's okay. The acrylic ink that she was using just bloomed into where she wanted it to be. Alright, so now I'm going to go directly onto the paper towel with the ink and put down a large amount of it here on the paper towel, and then we're just going to dab it in to the areas that we want it to be darker. Just to give that look. I'm just rinsing out my, and then again with the ink. And the more I lay down, the darker it gets. Like I said, I'm just going to be very splotchy with it. And once it dries, it should be a nice sepia, splotchy sepia background. And then we will come through and we will rework the raven and do his colors properly, as well as some of the leaves will be changed. So some of the leaves will have some golds and some whites and different contrasting colors. I'm not going to use a lot of different colors. I'm going to use black, I'm going to use gold, and I'm going to use white. And that's it. We're not going to color all of the leaves. We're just going to color some of them so that they stand out. Like so. And I'm not sure if you guys can see how brown that's gotten, but we have quite a bit of brown going on there. Again, I'm just going to take a little bit of the ink and we're just going to drop it down. And we're just going to move it around a little. Make sure that you have something under your page so that if you do go over the edge, you're able to protect the page underneath. Now, the opposing side, if you go too far over the edge, you could end up with color on the opposing side. The reason for the gesso, of course, is to protect the page on the other side of the page here, because Kerby books are double-sided. So if I go over this with, say, alcohol marker or something, it's going to keep it from going through the page. So if you want to use alcohol marker in your Kerby books, just get a clear gesso, preferably not a textured one, because the textured gessos will damage your nibs of your pens. But you can get a gesso, and you can, of course, let it dry and then do a little test area, make sure that you have enough gesso on there, and then go through and color your page. So we've got this saturated now with the brown. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's a nice amount of brown. We're going to add another color to it as well, just to add some texture to it, some difference to it. So I'm going to grab, oh, crud. My thing moved. That's not what I wanted to do. I think I want to add a little bit of red to it. So let's grab a little bit of red. Is that red or pink? That looks awfully pink. Yeah, let's use this one and see how it does. It looks a little pink to me, but we'll take a look. And like I said, if it worse comes to worse and it doesn't turn out, we can change it later. But it looks very pink to me. I'm a little bit concerned because it looks really pink and this one looks really purple. Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I will maybe use a little bit of black because I don't want it to be colorful. I want it to be a nice mixture of sepia colors of dark and light. So I'm going to spray this a little bit. And we're going to take the cork out of this and hopefully not get it everywhere. Because, yeah, black ink everywhere does not sound like a fun day for me. And we're going to dry that off. Okay. I don't want to use too much of it, but okay, we're going to draw that off. And then we're going to take our pad here again. And we're just going to dab up any extras. And then we are going to let this dry because it's starting to get oversaturated and we don't want that. So we're going to let that dry now, and when we come back next week, we will have it all nice and dry and the color will be there and we will be able to work more with the colored pencils and that sort of thing. And then we will start building on that background color. I know this one has been a very short one, as you know, sometimes making a mess can be very quick because there's always, you know, things that we have to do afterwards to allow things to progress in the way we want it to. As you can see, my cloth here is quite full of ink. Again, I'm going to just take a little bit more of the brown just because I want this area here to have a little bit more of the brown. Just going to pour a touch. And like I said, we're just going to let that dry in. I'll pour a touch over here too. And I'm just tapping it, I'm just patting it so that it just drops the brown into the less saturated areas, like so. All right, now I'm going to stop fussing with it because the more I fuss with it, the worse it's going to get. So we're going to let that dry, and then we're going to come back next week, and we're going to actually start coloring this with our black acrylic ink for the bird and some white and I just made a mess, sorry. My black ink just leaked. So we'll be using some black acrylic ink for the bird as well as some silver and gold for some of the leaves. And then we will see how this turns out. I've never done this before. I watched Amy do it and it looked absolutely spectacular. So we will see if I can do any justice to it at all. I don't know if I can. Like I said, I have already made a complete mess of my desk and my hands because my ink leaked. So, all right, guys. So that is the start of Try It Tuesday using ink for a background. And actually to color the entire page because we've pretty much colored the page that in the colors that I'm going to leave them. I'm going to go through and add bits of interest to the page, but we're not going to actually color the whole thing. All right, guys, with that, I would like to say thank you all very much for watching. Of course, remember to always like, comment, and subscribe to any YouTube artists that you enjoy. Please make sure that you join us for 2 weeks with Kerby, hosted by Shannon with from Craft and Coloring with Shani Blue, because she is awesome and I just love her channel and she has put so much work into all of this and I appreciate her for it. All right, guys, with that, I will let you all have a wonderful Tuesday. I will see you all tomorrow live for Work It Wednesday, where we will be continuing on with our wonderful little bunnies from Kanoko Ogosa. And of course, I want to say happy birthday to everybody out there who has a birthday in this wonderful month of April. I know it is my birthday month, and I know several other people have birthdays this month as well. So make sure that you hang out and look at some of the birthday streams that are happening because some of them are pretty spectacular. All right, guys, until next time, always remember to relax, color, and stay safe. And of course, have a fantastic day. Until next time, bye bye for now.